Oh, good enough. Good enough. All right, there we go. YouTube and everybody's live. Hello, YouTube and everybody. Hello, guys, gals. Let me, here we go. Actually, open up my Instagram. There we go. All right. Excellent. Pull up my Substack. Then I've got, actually, TikTok is already ready to go. Oh, 5 of you on Substack. Look at you all ready for me. Excellent, Substackers. Hang on 1 second here. All right, Substack is ready. Hey, Terry. TikTok, TikTok's easy. TikTok's already ready to go. I was good today. All righty, TikTok is live. Switch the camera. Bam. That stuff's up there. That's there. Excellent. Excellent. Woo. We are good today. Hey, Zeke. Or ZC. Ashley too. Ashley Beese. Anyway, welcome, guys. John Arvosis here. So welcome. We've got another good show. Lots of craziness today, as always. Big surprise there. I'm adjusting my camera, but maybe I should just leave it alone. I think I'm just going to leave it. I'm trying not to have you guys see the light in the mirror because I think it's distracting. There we go. All right. Welcome, guys. Oop, is that going to be? Maybe. Yeah, it is. Of course it is. Oh, my God. I keep messing with my camera. Hold on. Stop messing with my camera. There we go. Okay. My YouTube camera was driving me a little crazy. No audio. Oh, no audio on TikTok. All right. Hang on, TikTok. There we go. How about now, TikTokers? TikTok. There we go. Yeah, TikTok doesn't like it. It's weird. TikTok, when I've got my microphone plugged in before I start TikTok, TikTok doesn't recognize it. I have to plug the microphone in after I start TikTok. Makes no sense, but it does. Anyway, good afternoon, guys. Monday, April 20th. We've got a good amount of news to talk about today. 5x5, excellent. We've got a good amount of news to talk about today. Gifts already pouring in on TikTok. Thank you, guys. So yeah, welcome everybody. I'm John Arvosis. You know the show. We talk about the latest news. I'm in Washington, D.C. Breaking news, Trump is still awful. That is true. We've got a lot of news today. Most of it is not good. Some good Ukraine news, though. But a lot of the rest of the news, not so great. As always, I very much appreciate your gifts, so keep the gifts coming, TikTok and YouTube. I will try to do shout-outs for the bigger gifts. And that's about that. Let's get rolling. So where do we start? Thank you, Dolphin. We're counting sheep. Thank you for that. There was some breaking news. Labor Secretary has resigned, meaning she was fired. Her name was Lori Chavez. Well, I guess her name still is Lori Chavez DeRemer. She's the one where they were investigating the husband for sexually harassing her staff at the Labor Department. And at the same time, she herself was under investigation for all sorts of multiple scandals. So Trump finally got rid of her. Trump has been wanting to get rid of her. So she's gone. We'll talk about the mess that is Kash Patel in a minute. You know, Kash Patel, FBI director, Kash Patel. But we'll talk about, oh, hello. Thank you, Sadie. Was wondering why my screen froze because you were putting up a very nice gift. Thank you for that. But yes, Kash Patel also basically in the news this weekend. We'll talk about it. But let's get rolling first on Iran. Iran, total cluster F in Iran. Total mess right now, what's going on. Trump lied again on Friday. Big surprise. I don't know why the stock market falls for this crap. The stock market and the energy markets totally fell for Trump lying about what was going on in Iran. Trump claimed, actually I'm trying to pull up the oil prices now because I hadn't looked at them today. Trump claimed on Friday, oh, we've got a deal. We've got a ceasefire. The Strait, we used to call it the Straits. The Strait are now totally open. Everything's open. Everything's great. We've agreed to almost everything. And a lot of us were going, is he just manipulating the market again? Because it sure feels like he's manipulating the stock market. Stock market went crazy. Oil prices plummeted. And we found out Trump lied. He just freaking lied. I mean, this is what he does. Oil prices are still down, however. Let me see here. Where's my glasses? Where did I put my glasses? I'm being an old man. My glasses are on my shirt. West Texas is at 87. Brent crude is at 94. So Brent is still a little high. West Texas is lower. Some other breaking news. Air Canada scraps key U.S. routes amid high fuel prices. So that's very interesting. So Trump faked everybody out. He pretended like he had a deal with Iran. He didn't. Thank you, Colleen. Very generous super sticker. He pretended he had a deal with Iran. He didn't. He pretended the Strait of Hormuz was open. It wasn't. Immediately we saw, well, everybody, I mean, Trump claimed the Strait of Hormuz is open. Everybody can fly, ship, whatever, go through, sail. And immediately, I mentioned this on Friday, immediately the experts are going, it's, oh, thank you, Cricket. Is that the sloth? I think it's a sloth, right? Yeah, that's the sloth. Thank you. Immediately, all the experts are going, the ships aren't going through the Strait of Hormuz. There were like 20 ships that tried to go through. They turned around, and everybody went, why did the ships turn around if the straits were open, right? Then we find out the Iranians are still letting, basically requiring all the ships. It is biased when Trump, it is absolutely biased news when Trump talks. That is exactly why we're doing the show today, guys. Thank you for saying that. I know you're getting blocked, sadly, right now, so you got to go bother other people. But Trump is biased, and he gives fake news, and he gave fake news about the Iran situation being resolved, and it wasn't. He lied. So Trump claimed the strait was open. Thank you for reminding me to go through this again. Trump said the strait was open. In fact, all the ships got turned around by the Iranians. Trump claimed that the strait was totally free now, unencumbered. In fact, the Iranian military was still taking the name of every ship. Every ship had to check in with the Iranian military. They had to pay the Iranians $2 million a ship for the large tankers. And then the Iranians decided who they wanted to go through, who they didn't. One Indian ship was going through on Friday, and the Iranians opened fire on it. And they even played the audio. They got the audio of it that I found online. And they're going, this is Indian ship. We're on your list. To the Iranians, it's going, we're number 2 on your list. You approved us. Why are you firing at us? Total disaster. Well, then, so the Iranians were letting just a couple ships go through. Trump lied and said the strait was totally open on Friday. In fact, the Iranians let only a couple ships go through. Those ships had to register with the Iranian military. They had to pay a $2 million ransom per ship to the Iranians. And then, I'm trying to, what was the next thing with this? With Trump claiming oh yeah, then, and I knew this was going to happen. Trump goes, but we're still keeping an embargo on any ship coming to or from Iran. Any tanker, any ship, anything. No ships go to Iran, no ships leave Iran. And I'm listening to this going, Iran's just going to shut down the strait entirely. Why should they let our traffic go through the strait when we're not letting their traffic go? What does Iran do? Iran says, okay, we're not letting anything go through. So all weekend, the Strait of Hormuz was, now, it wasn't open anyway on Friday, to be honest. But all weekend, it was closed entirely. Sunday, yesterday, an Iranian ship, oil tanker or something, is trying to leave, and the U.S. military said, Iranian ship turn around. They refused, so Trump opened fire, or military opened fire, and blew up the engine room of the Iranian vessel and then boarded the ship. Now, I don't per se have a problem with that. If you're going to say you're doing an embargo of Iran, then no ship should be stupid enough to try to test the embargo against the U.S. military. That was dumb of the Iranians. But, guys, total cluster F this weekend. So, what happens this weekend? Sip of water. All weekend, again, pathological liar, Donald Trump. All weekend, Trump is telling reporters, oh, Monday night, J.D. Vance is going to sign a deal with the Iranians Monday night. Today, Donald Trump, oh, we're going to have a deal tonight. And all the reporters are going, but J.D. Vance hasn't left for Pakistan yet, and it's going to take him a day to get to Pakistan. So how is he signing a deal tonight when he hasn't even left Washington yet? And it's going to take him, God knows what, 12, 13 hours to fly and longer to get there, and then he's going to have to rest once he gets there. Trump lied. Again, J.D. Vance is not leaving until tomorrow. Thank you, Cricket, for the gift. He's not leaving until tomorrow. He's not going to get there till tomorrow night. The negotiations aren't happening until Wednesday. And Trump claimed all weekend, including today, oh, the deal's going to be signed Monday night, like right now. Guys, what boggles my mind? This man has been a pathological liar forever. Certainly, I've only been paying attention to him since he was running for president. And Trump will always lie about big things coming up. He always does. And the markets believe him. The press believes him. I mean, the press covers it. Oh, Donald Trump. Remember, he gave the big speech about the war and how it was going 2 weeks ago? And we all went, what the hell was that? The speech, Donald Trump gave a speech about absolutely nothing 2 weeks ago about the war. Absolutely nothing. Other than suggesting the war was going to go on for a long time. He didn't say anything. We went, what are you doing? He likes to do this. He likes to hear himself talk, and he doesn't say anything. Anyway, so it's kind of a cluster F, like I said right now. The negotiations, it's not clear where they are. Donald Trump keeps threatening fire and brimstone on Iran again, but we also know from previous times he's lying. He's generally lying. He bluffs, and he bluffs very badly. He could actually try to, blow them up again, but also he lies and he bluffs. So who the hell knows if you're Iran? On the Iranian side, it's a total cluster F on the Iranian side too. I want to read you a couple paragraphs from The Economist. Basically, the Iranians are now at war. The Iranian government is at war with itself, and the Revolutionary Guard, that are the kind of the ideological military versus the regular army. The ideological military is basically fighting with the political leaders, because the ideological military is saying, no, you're not going to reach any kind of a deal with the Americans. And the political leaders want to at least maybe reach a deal. Let me read you this from The Economist. It's wild. There's a power struggle underway in Iran. And even within the delegation that went to Islamabad, Pakistan for the first round of talks, which offered a sense of the country's internal tensions. Quote, their arguments were so ferocious that Pakistani mediators are reported to have spent as much time refereeing among the Iranians as engaging the Americans. When tempers frayed, the host called a pause. In other words, the Iranians were fighting amongst themselves more than they were fighting with the Americans, and the Pakistanis who were hosting finally said, okay, let's take a pause, right? Inside Iran, signs of swelling military assertiveness are plentiful. Pro-regime crowds, mobilized nightly by networks tied to the IRGC, have taken to denouncing Iranian Foreign Minister IRGC and Parliament Speaker Ghalibaf by name. Military communiques delivered by men in fatigues appear to have replaced clerical sermons. Also, this was separate from The Economist, defense analyst Alex Plitzis says Iran's Revolutionary Guard is blocking attempts by the civilian leadership to reach a deal. Now, let me read you really quick. I pulled up the quick paragraph from Wikipedia about the Revolutionary Guard because I think it's very interesting. Thank you, Cricket. Just to see exactly who they are, because it kind of, in the context of this, the civilian leaders versus the Revolutionary Guard, the Revolutionary Guard, appears to be like the keeper of they're the military that keeps the ideological faith, basically. Let me read you this. Iranian Revolutionary Guards were officially established by Ayatollah Khomeini as a military branch in May 1979 in the aftermath of the Iranian Revolution. Whereas the Iranian army protects the country's sovereignty in a traditional way, the IRGC's constitutional mandate is to ensure the integrity of the Islamic Republic. Most interpretations of this mandate assert that it entrusts the Revolutionary Guard with preventing foreign interference in Iran, thwarting coups by the traditional military, and crushing deviant movements that harm the ideological legacy of the Islamic Revolution. So they're there to stop deviant elements in the country from undermining the ideological revolution. That would mean political leaders that undermine the ideological revolution or anybody else. These are you have the military, and then you've got the nut job ideological fundamentalist military. That's who these crazy people are. And they're now fighting with the political leaders in Iran. It's insane. And some of the secret police are there too, like the Basij or whatever. They're part of them as well. Yeah, it's crazy. Trump tweeted Trump's been tweeting a lot this weekend. Crazy stuff. And with Trump, it's not just a matter of being crazy. It's a matter of it telling you something about what's going on. Trump tweeted 3 insanely long tweets today on his social media platform. He claimed one of them was great. Israel did not talk me into the war, which of course means that Israel, and by the way, TikTokers, you always know when people offer you free crap on TikTok, they're scammers. You never want to engage with them. I mean, I think you all know that, but just be careful. Whenever anybody offers you free crap, stay away. Thanks, Deb. Trump, first of all, says, Israel did not talk me into the war. I did it on my own, which means Israel talked Trump into the war. With Trump, everything's a confession. He claimed, what was the other one here? He claimed, all the polls are rigged. All the polls saying people don't like him are rigged. Just like the 2020 election was rigged. He's still pushing that bullshit. He claims that he forced regime change in Iran. He keeps hitting on this. And he hits on it the way that only an ignorant, idiotic child would hit on it. Trump keeps saying, well, the regime was in charge and I killed them. And then a new regime took over because I killed the old regime, so I changed the regime. Thank you, Mel. In fact, it's regime change. So now he's claiming success in Iran because he had regime change. The problem is, regime change doesn't usually mean you put worse people in power. Regime change means you literally threw out the bad guys and now you went from a bad guy regime to a good guy regime, or at least a better guy regime. The guys in charge right now, all the experts will tell you, are worse people than who were in the regime to start with. And hello, David, on YouTube. I have no idea what flag that is. Want to tell me? Sorry. I always find, although you may not be European, the Europeans especially love to sort of say, oh, instead of saying the country, they put the name, they put the flag. And as an American, we always look at that and go, I have no idea what flag that is. Although that could be Africa too, for all I know. We never know what flag these things are. Drives me crazy. So yes, please let me know what flag that is. So Trump's tweets, his second tweet was about Obama's nuclear deal. My deal is going to be so much better than Obama's nuclear deal. Obama's nuclear deal was so bad. And you're reading it going, oh God, this means his deal is going to be far worse than Obama's nuclear deal. Far worse, if that's what he's saying. Now, I want to pull up it's Wales? Oh, interesting. No, he said, it's not Wales. Portugal. I don't think that's Portugal, is it? That can't be Portugal. It is Portugal. Okay. I did not know, although I also can't see it completely, but okay, did not know. Let me pull this up. One of the tweets I did want to read to you especially. Hang on here. Get my glasses again. I can't read the whole thing. There are 3 tweets like, this is what I mean. These are tweets. He did 3 tweets like this today. They're insane. They're absolutely, you can tell just by looking at them. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm going to read some of it because it's crazy. These are Donald Trump's tweets today. The Democrats are doing everything possible to hurt the very strong position we are in with respect to Iran. Despite World War I lasting 4 years, 3 months, and 14 days, World War II lasting 6 years and 1 day, the Korean War lasting 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days, the Vietnam War lasting 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days, and Iraq lasting 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days, they like to say that I promised 6 weeks to defeat Iran, and actually from the military standpoint, it was far faster than that, but I'm not going to let... Wait, he just admitted. But I'm not going to let them... Wait, what? I'm not going to let them rush the United States into making a deal that is not as good as it could have been. So he's saying, the Democrats keep saying that I said the war would be over soon. I didn't say that. He goes, although militarily we already won. So if militarily we already won, then you just admitted what the Democrats said, which is you've been saying for a while now that the war was going to be over like within 6 weeks, and you're already saying we won. So, right? I mean, then the war, if all you're doing is negotiating, every time I put on this wig, it itches me. If all we're doing is negotiating, then the war is over and we're just negotiating, right? I mean, he just can't. And by the way, talking about, and I've said this before, my hair is flying around, my Trump hair, talking about how long World War I and World War II and the Korean War and Vietnam and whatever the hell else. He didn't mention Vietnam because Vietnam's like Vietnam, right? Thank you, Louise. Mentioning how long those other wars went is very bad. That signals this war may go very long as well, basically, because he's trying to say, well, World War II lasted 6 years. World War I lasted 4 years. 4 years? World War I, we weren't in World War I for 4 years. Wait a minute. We weren't in World War II for 6 years either. He's talking about how long the wars were, not how long we were in them. Oh my God. He's not even talking about how long we were in the war. He's now changed. This is classic Trump mendacity, right? He's now changed originally when he gave that speech to the nation, when he didn't say anything, he talked about how long America was in each war. And trying to say, well, America was in World War I this long and World War II this long, so this war hasn't been long at all. Now he shifted it to talking about how long the wars were, but not how long America was in the war. Thank you, Baby Duck, which basically is a lie. And this is what he does. Right, World War I would have been a couple years, I'm guessing, right? I know we didn't enter till late. It could have been a year and a half. How long was World War I? World War II, was it even a year? World War One? Okay. World War II would have been Pearl Harbor, 1941. Help me out, guys. 1941, I think. Was Pearl Harbor 1940 or 1941? I don't want to get it wrong. December 11th. Not December 11th, December 7th. December. 4 years? Okay, 1940. Right, so 4 years for World War One, or World War II, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, World War II started in 1939 or so, but we weren't exactly there for it. He basically lied. I mean, I'm laughing at this. Oh, he did mention Vietnam. Vietnam War lasting 19 years, 5 months. Iraq lasting 8 years. Iraq lasting 8 years? How did Iraq last 8 years? Iraq didn't last 8 years. What's he talking about? Iraq lasted 8 years. We got into Iraq in, first of all, the first Iraq war didn't last 8 years, did it? There's no way it did. There's no way the first Iraq war lasted 8 years. And the second Iraq war, we got in 2003, and we didn't leave until 2020. That was 17 years. What's he talking about, 8 years for Iraq war? Anybody have a clue? It can't be Iraq 1, right? It's not Iraq 2 either. Yeah, no, he just, well, true. January Jewel goes, he just makes shit up. That's exactly it. Thank you for the sloth. Thank you. He just makes shit up. It's not even combining them. The second Iraq war started in 2003. It didn't end until 2020. That's 17 years or so. I mean, right, he got this from ChatGPT or Wikipedia. That's exactly it. No, I mean, I'm trying to think, like, is there any way Iraq lasting 8 years, 8 months, and 20... Okay. It's time. You know what it's time for. Hold on. Let's ask boyfriend. Okay. Hi, boyfriend. So I've got a question for you. Donald Trump just claimed that the Iraq war went for 8 years and 8 months. In what possible universe did the U.S. war in Iraq last 8 years and 8 months? The first one, I don't remember how long it lasted, but it wasn't 8 years. The second one of 2003 lasted like 17 years. Any sense here to what Trump claimed?
Donald Trump claimed the Iraq war lasted exactly 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. In reality, the war began in March 2003, and the formal U.S. withdrawal was in December 2011, which is roughly 8 years and 9 months. So while the exact days are a stretch, the general time frame...
Wait a minute. What do you mean the U.S. withdrawal? We didn't leave Iraq until 2020. Remember? Biden pulled out under the Trump agreement.
Donald Trump's claim about the Iraq war lasting 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days matches the official U.S. invasion and withdrawal timeline. The U.S. invaded in March 2003 and formally withdrew in December 2011, which is about that length. However, U.S. forces did return later to help fight ISIS, and the mission evolved. In short, the specific war phase Trump referenced is technically accurate if you define it by those formal dates.
Oh, bullshit. I mean, fair enough, but that's total bullshit. That is absolute total bullshit. We had very large casualties in Iraq and Afghanistan, actually, throughout the 2010s. And again, the war didn't end, and it ended dramatically and horribly in 2020. That was not just a couple troops we had. We had tens of thousands of troops in Iraq. I remember, in Afghanistan, at this point, Afghanistan. That's true. Actually, that's a point. You're right. That was Afghanistan. You know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. You're right. I'm mixing the two. No, you're right. I was just thinking of that. I was going to say 2020's horrific withdrawal was Afghanistan. That's why he's saying that. Okay, so Iraq, we wound down a lot of it in 2011, but there were still lingering troops. Afghanistan was the wrong one. There you go. Yeah. You know, here's the problem. I love that. Our trolls, why don't we get better trolls? Can I, like, I'm asking. The troll goes, "You were wrong, admit it." Did you just listen to the last minute of my speech here? Like, I'm literally sitting here going, I just got done saying, oh, I was wrong. It was Afghanistan. But I told you, they don't speak English well. And they've got written talking points, or somebody's giving them the talking points. So they're never paying attention to what's actually going on. right? And they always, my favorite is when they say, cry harder when I'm in the middle of telling a really funny story. And I'm always like, we were telling a funny story that wasn't a, oh, we're angry. They're neutrals. Well, that's true. They're neutrals. Anyway, yeah, so, okay, fair enough. So that was, so Iraq, I'm thinking Afghanistan. That's true. Although Iraq invasion was 2003, but that's why. Okay. All right. Yeah, hello, American. That one still cracks me up. Hello, Americans. That was one of our trolls. What else we got? Oh, my God, Wall Street Journal. Wall Street Journal reports that Trump went so, listen to this, Trump went so nuts after he learned that an American fighter jet, remember the American fighter jet? Ugh, I'm getting sweaty with this. The American fighter jet was shot down in Iran. Trump went so nuts that they had to basically remove him from the room and not let him back in because it was going to just screw up the rescue effort if Trump was in the room. Let me read this to you from the Wall Street Journal. Trump screamed at aides for hours. The Europeans aren't helping, he said repeatedly. Gas prices averaged $4.09. Images of the 1979 Iranian hostage crisis, one of the biggest international policy failures of a presidency in recent times, had been looming large in his mind. People who have spoken to him said, quote, if you look at what happened with Jimmy Carter, with the helicopters and the hostages, it cost them the election, Trump said in March. What a mess, Trump demanded. Oh, what a mess. Trump demanded that the military go get our pilots and our aviators who crashed, right? Trump demanded the military go get them immediately. But the U.S. hadn't been on the ground in Iran since the government overthrown that led to the hostage crisis, 1979, and they needed to figure out how to get into treacherous Iranian terrain and avoid Tehran's own military. Aides kept the president out of the room as they got minute-by-minute updates because they believed his impatience wouldn't be helpful, instead updating him at meaningful moments, a senior administration official said. Trump was so unprofessional that his staff basically barred him from the Situation Room because he was screwing up the rescue of the pilots. Not just pilots, aviators. I don't know if they were just pilots, but they were, men and women on the planes. I mean, guys, I can't think of another American president that we had to ban from the Situation Room because he was too emotional and he was screwing. By the way, he kept ordering them to go get the pilots immediately, and they kept telling him, we can't do that until we figure out a plan because it's too dangerous. And he kept saying, no, do it now, according to the Wall Street Journal. Man. I mean, right, it's a better story than him falling asleep every 5 minutes, I guess, but still, right? Trump administration is no longer saying high gasoline prices will be fleeting. A month ago, Secretary of Energy Chris Wright told Meet the Press that there was a very good chance we'd have gasoline under $3 by the summer, $3 a gallon. In the last day, Wright said, Jake Tapper, CNN, asks him, when do you think it's realistic for Americans to expect that gas will go back below under $3 a gallon? Wright goes, I don't know. That could happen later this year. That might happen until next year, but prices have definitely peaked. So we've gone from under $3 a gallon by this summer to maybe next year. Yeah. Congratulations, guys. Let me pull this up. Hold on. Congratulations. They have made inflation a disaster. Again, I mean, Trump already screwed up inflation left and right. Let me see. Gas prices, I assume, have come down. Today, I didn't look. Gas prices are down. That's good. Well, they're actually up today, even weirder. Gas prices had dropped to $3.98 a gallon. They went up to $3.99 a gallon today, possibly concern about the fact that it's a cluster F. What else we got? Oh, there's another Iranian baby meme that I have to show you. The Iranians have created yet another meme attacking Donald Trump. And, they're very good at this. I mean, it's unfortunate, but let me see if I've got this. I hope I've got it. Oh, here we go. Oh, I've got it. It's very unfortunate, but they're very good at this. Hang on. I mean, they're very good. Look at him. No. I mean, they're very good. They're really very good at this stuff. I'm telling you, it's not just having somebody American help, I suspect, but also somebody very funny, somebody extremely funny is helping them do this. Because it even has us showing it. I mean, I don't want the Iranians to win, so to speak, but they've even got us laughing about it because it's so well done. And frankly, it's spot on for Donald Trump. He is a spoiled baby and he thinks like a spoiled baby and exactly messing around with the Strait and them going, no, I mean, well, we saw he melted down when the U.S. fighter jet got shot down and couldn't be trusted in the room. I mean, right? It's exactly the story I just told you. Reuters, a prominent Emirati commentator from the United Arab Emirates, Abdul Halik Abdullah, says it's time to think about closing U.S. bases in the country, calling them a burden. The Wall Street Journal reports that Trump mused about giving himself the nation's highest military honor, the Medal of Honor, designed to honor bravery, courage, and sacrifice. I had copied this. Hang on. I've got it in my notes because I've got a little bit. I forgot to put it in my notes here. I've got it on my iPad. He was going to do it his first term, and you have to listen to this. This is I know I've got this. Hold on. I've got this. It's the most outrageous thing. Oh, come on. I know I've got it here. Oh, here it is. Or not here it is, but it's coming up here. All right, hold on. I am going to find this because it is outrageous. Here we go. Here we go. At another gathering, one night after threatening to end Iranian civilization, Trump stood in the White House with donors and top staff for reception ahead of America's 250th celebration this summer. He mused about giving himself the nation's highest military honor. This is from the Wall Street Journal. The Medal of Honor, designed to honor bravery, courage, and sacrifice. He then told a story about why he said he deserved it. In his first term, as he flew into Iraq for a surprise holiday visit to the troops, his jet descended in the dark towards an unlit runway. In dramatic fashion, Trump counted down the feet to the plane landing and recalled how scary it was. The pilots kept reassuring him, he said, and they landed safely. He couldn't get the medal, he said, because White House counsel David Warrington, who was standing nearby at the event, wouldn't let him. Later, his White House press spokeswoman, Caroline Leavitt, said, oh, he was just joking. She always says he's joking when he does something horrific. Donald Trump wanted stolen... Donald Trump, who dodged the draft, bone spurs, right? Donald Trump wanted to steal valor. He wanted to give himself a medal that only goes to the highest levels of courage in our military because he was on a plane that flew into Iraq and it was really scary, even though they told him it wasn't really that scary. And by the way, it probably wasn't that scary because Donald Trump, Secret Service is not going to let, and the military is not going to let Donald Trump fly into Iraq if he's in danger of getting shot down. It's absolutely... That's true. It was his grandfather or his great-grandfather that also was a draft dodger. That is why they came to America. If you Google it, his grandfather or great-grandfather, I forget which one, was in Bavaria. And basically, according to Wikipedia, dodged the draft in Bulgaria. In Bavaria, which is how he ended up coming to America. Grandfather? Okay, grandfather. I mean, it's a crazy story. But I mean, you know, the classic disrespect for the military this guy has. Again, if any Democrat were this gross about what he said about the troops, about the way he treats the troops, suggesting that they want, the Medal of Valor because they were on an airplane and it was really scary, and I deserve the highest medal of anybody. And he wants to give it to himself. How much do you want to bet? Mark my words. Hegseth is going to come up with a new military award for Trump. And it's going to be because of the miracle and the God-given miracle of what he did in Iran. Just wait. And he's going to mention Venezuela. Just wait. Hegseth, I predict, will come up with a medal, a new military medal that he gives Trump. It's basically right. It's the FIFA award for the military. The Taco Award, exactly. The FBI director, FBI Director Kash Patel says, Arrests are coming related to the 2016 Russia probe. Now, guess why that is? I think that's because Kash Patel is in trouble. A big story broke this weekend from The Atlantic. Maybe it was Friday or it was Saturday. I don't remember. For The Atlantic, I think it must have been Friday. Saying, and the story was alleging, thank you, Tammy, for the glasses. Keep the gifts coming, guys. The story was alleging that Kash Patel had a drinking problem, would get so drunk that some mornings he couldn't get up, and the FBI was worried about his physical health because they couldn't get him to respond to the door. That he frequently is not on the job. He's frequently just not at work at all. Patel denies it, kind of. Thank you, Chazak. I mean, his lawyer kind of denied it. Patel himself was on Fox News discussing it, got asked about it, didn't deny it. He said, oh, my lawyer is going to file suit. He didn't say, no, it's not true. Well, the lawyer wrote a 3-page letter on Friday, and then thank you, Luis, and then the legal complaint today. Honestly, it's not that good. The lawyer letter on Friday, even the legal complaint, is things like, they didn't even name any of the sources. Okay, just because you do. Oh, let me step back a second. When you're a public figure, right? Kash Patel is a public figure, and meaning a celebrity of sorts. Thank you, Blue Ariel. But when I say celebrity, I mean politicians can be celebrities. It's not just movie star, right? I don't know whether I'm a public figure. It's arguable. Candace Owens is a public figure, right? You know, Charlie Kirk was a public figure. It's this people in the public eye, right? And when you're a public figure and you are slandered or defamed or whatever, and you go to court, it is very difficult to win a lawsuit because you've got to prove not just that they were wrong. You've got to prove that they knew they were wrong in what they wrote about you, or they should have known they were wrong. Meaning it was so obvious on its face, had they done any research at all to fact check their story, they would have found out it was wrong. So in other words, it's like grossly negligent, or the story is just, or it's just wrong, right? Well, in Patel's case, the lawyers wrote this thing, and the lawyers said, well, you quoted sources that you didn't even name, anonymous sources. Okay, but anonymous sources doesn't, I mean, what if the anonymous source is the president of the United States, right? What if the anonymous source is the head of the Department of the Attorney General, right? Then you've got a reasonable belief that the story's true, right? If the Attorney General is one of the sources saying, oh yeah, that guy's a drunk, then it is totally reasonable for you to assume this is not a joke, right? So it doesn't, I mean, the point was, all of the arguments struck me as bullshit. All of the arguments struck me as Kash Patel was trying to keep his job. That basically, that the legal letter and even this lawsuit was written for Donald Trump. I want to pull up either, do I have the quote on here? Yes, let me read one thing from the lawsuit. So one of the first arguments in the lawsuit, talking about the anonymous sources, let me read you this line and figure out if you can find the logical, this is a law school lesson here. I went to law school. See if you can find the logical fallacy in this argument in Kash Patel's lawsuit against the Atlantic, okay? The complaint alleges that the story was, quote, relying entirely on anonymous sources that the reporter knew to be both highly partisan, with an axe to grind, and also not in a position to know the facts. What's wrong with this allegation from Kash Patel's lawyer? Again, the journalist was relying entirely on anonymous sources she knew to be both highly partisan, with an axe to grind, and also not in a position to know the facts. Just curious, can anybody? So there's got to be a lawyer out there. What's the logical fallacy? Alyssa got it. Alyssa already got it. How do Kash Patel's lawyers know that the sources were partisan and that the sources had an axe to grind against Patel, and especially that the sources were not in a position to know if the sources were anonymous? They just got done saying that the newspaper, the magazine, refused to name their sources. We don't know who they are. But then they said, but we do know that their sources are not of very high quality. They're not high level. They don't like this, right? If the sources are anonymous, you don't know. Alyssa, are you not even a lawyer? Alyssa's not even a lawyer. Well, that was a very good legal analysis, though, Alyssa. Good job. This is the problem here. I think this lawsuit is all about Donald Trump. Kash Patel is trying to keep his job, and he's doing it by, look, Donald, I followed a lawsuit just like you. The problem is, guess what this lawsuit is going to hinge on? A big part of what this lawsuit is going to hinge on is, does Kash Patel get knocked down drunk? That is the allegation. And the allegation is he's been doing it while he was FBI director. Therefore, he has to go under oath if this lawsuit proceeds. He has to be sworn in and testify under penalty of prison as to how much alcohol he drinks. And unless every story about him is a lie, unless the videos we've seen of him are a lie, because the video, like the video from the Olympics, I don't drink much. You would not see a video of me chugging beer going, bah! You would not see that as, I just don't drink that much. I'm used to people doing that. People who drink a lot are the people I find chugging beers on camera and screaming. My experience in life has been they're drinkers. He has to go under oath to deny that he likes to drink and that he drinks a lot. He'll go to prison if he lies for that. Trump could try to pardon him, and maybe Trump will have to pardon him, but, you know, there's no way in hell he's going to go under oath. I mean, I could go under oath and talk about my drinking easily because I literally just don't like to drink. I drink a little bit, but it's easy for me because I just don't drink, barely. Patel? Maybe? And the legal letter said, Director Patel does not drink to excess, or something like that. I forgot the exact quote. And I read it and I was like, at all? It said at all. And I went, okay. Well, it is subjective. That's where you get him paid. You go, okay, really? You don't drink to excess. How many times a week do you drink? How many days a week? The last week, how many days did you drink? Or not even the last week, because he could prepare for the lawsuit, right? And you'd have to hit him up. You'd say, okay, great. In the last year, on average, the last 12 months, how often did you drink every week, right? How many drinks would you have? What kind of drinks were they? And frankly, you'd even get worse because you would go and find out places he was at. You'd find out what he ordered. You might even try to get copies of what he ordered. I mean, you'd have witnesses who would say, oh yeah, I've had friends who like to drink. It's pretty obvious when people like to drink and you know what they like to drink and they have a drink that they like, and it's just, a good lawyer is going to absolutely get him, especially when he says, I don't drink that much. Really? Great. Let's get into the details then, right? And watch him say that he wasn't ever inebriated since he was FBI director, right? He never had enough to be tipsy, ever. Interesting, right? And again, you bring out the video from the Olympics. You say, okay, let's do this video. So you weren't tipsy there? How many beers did you have that night? You were FBI director that night. You were on call, right? America's going to war against Iran, a terrorist state. How many drinks did you have? Right? Okay. Exactly. That's what I was just saying, Rick. Exactly. What else we got? Oh, the U.S. is holding up virtually all weapons deliveries now to European Union countries because we need them for Iran, which means, as I've been predicting all along, you cannot trust the United States anymore for weapons shipments. So now you can't trust us for our military commitments. You can't trust us for our economic commitments. Which leads Canada to say, Reuters, Canada's close ties to the United States were once a strength but have become a weakness, Prime Minister Mark Carney said on Sunday in a video message to his country, in which he also praised the heroism of military leaders who fought against the U.S. invasion more than 2 centuries ago, holding up a small toy soldier depiction of General Isaac Brock, the British military leader who died defending what is now Canada from a U.S. invasion in the War of 1812. Carney said Canada can't control the disruption coming from its U.S. neighbors and can't bet its future on the hope that it will suddenly stop. We've lost Canada, people. The nicest people on the planet we have now lost. This is what happened. It's cute too because the Trump people, they like to lie and say, oh, the world finally respects us again. The world hates us. The world has always loved us under Democratic presidents. The world very often hates us. Under Donald Trump, they hated us. Under George Bush, they hated us. The second, George Bush the first, not so much. But George Bush the second, they hated us. Donald Trump, they really hated us. The interesting thing is that the Trump people seem to think that the world liking us and respecting us is important, but then they literally go and get the world to turn on us and hate us. And now one of our best, longest friends, Canada, is now saying our friendship is a detriment to them, right? And Europe, forget it. We were about to go to war with Europe 3 months ago, so the European relationship is toast. And the problem is, once we get rid of Trump, I've always said this, we can tell the Europeans and the Canadians and everybody else, oh, he'll be gone in a couple of years. We will always be one election away from electing another Trump. We will always be one election away from electing somebody who hates you, who screws you, who violates our trade agreements, who violates our military agreements, who basically won't be there for you if the Russians invade, right? I mean, we have now shown that we are capable of electing somebody like this, and we have shown that half the country is okay with electing somebody like this, and that even once they're elected, they do all this crazy stuff, and the people who voted for him will go, it's okay, what the hell, right? That most of them, at least, will be like, it's fine. So you can no longer, we're not reliable anymore. No, the Canadians are sadly right. What else we got? Oh, this was, so yeah, I'm going to get back to this. So Kash Patel says, the FBI director, and I'm sure this is linked to the Atlantic story because he's afraid of losing his job. Kash says his agency will soon make arrests, maybe this week, in connection to the 2020 presidential election, which he says was stolen from Trump. Here's the problem. We haven't had any indictments yet. How are you going to have arrests of the 2020 election when there haven't been any indictments? You've got to have the indictments first. You can't do this without the indictments first. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? Legally. We're not going to do it legally. Here's the other problem. Patel alleged in the complaint to the court this week, this is great, the complaint to the court says FBI Director Patel was alleged to have investigated people for political reasons. That has never happened under his tenure. And now he announces he's about to arrest people falsely for stealing the election from Donald Trump, which we all know didn't happen. Nobody thinks that happened. Nobody normal, right? 60 court cases thrown out. Really, we are Hungary at this point, and not the good Hungary that we're now getting. We're the bad Hungary. Very, very, very scary stuff. Couple more stories. Oh, this is a good one. Nate Cohn in the New York Times says a Democratic Senate was once unthinkable, but now is a real possibility with the fall elections. Helped by a favorable national environment and strong candidate recruitment, Democrats are tied or ahead in 4 Republican-held seats. Polls show these are 4 seats they're going to need to get to win the election: Maine, North Carolina, Ohio, and Alaska. Actually, I shouldn't say that it was 4. Now I'm forgetting. Was it 4 or 2 they need to get? I'm totally forgetting from the article now. Sorry, guys. It was either 4 or 2 of these Republican seats that initially didn't look like they were going to go Democrat, and now it's looking much better. Financial Times. Sweden has intelligence indicating that Russia is systematically manipulating data to fool Ukraine's Western allies into believing Russia's economy has withstood the strain of its lavish war spending and Western sanctions. Head of Sweden's military intelligence tells reporters Chris Miller and Max Sidon in Stockholm. In other words, the Russians are actually getting really damaged by the sanctions, and they've done a whole public relations campaign and disinformation campaign to convince us it's not causing that much harm. Think about it. We've all been sitting here going, God, why are these sanctions not causing the Russians that much harm? They are. They've basically fooled us, which is interesting. Zelensky says today, we have already reached 10-year agreements with 3 key countries: Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. We already have requests from 11 countries, the Middle East and the Gulf. Plus, we're also gradually turning our attention to the Caucasus. With this drone deal, there will be at least 10 different agreements covering various categories of Ukrainian weapons exports. Secondly, the European track. Work has already begun with Germany, Italy, Norway, Sweden, and the Netherlands. The Ukrainians have basically turned into NATO and the Middle East's best friend for protecting yourselves against drones and actually using drones for the assault as well, which is really wild. Guess who isn't getting the benefit of Ukraine's expertise? America, because Donald Trump and J.D. Vance don't care. They don't care about getting Ukraine's expertise for America. Remember Donald Trump? Donald Trump said just a couple weeks ago, there's nothing Ukraine could offer anybody that would help us with drones. We know everything. That's putting our troops at risk. That's literally putting U.S. service members' lives at risk by refusing to take Ukrainian help to learn better. And thank God the Middle East and our European allies are doing it, but pretty sick that we're not doing it. Finally, this was not a good story I just saw on Ukraine independence website. Very, very bad. Progressive Bulgaria, the coalition led by Bulgaria's Kremlin-friendly ex-president Rumen Radev, won the country's snap parliamentary elections on April 19th with 44.6% of the vote. The result puts the party in a position of potentially governing on its own. The politician has frequently criticized aid to Ukraine and Western sanctions against Russia, while also opposing Ukraine's ascension to NATO and the EU. So yeah, that's very bad. I hadn't even heard about that. That's very bad. Anyway, what do you do? What do you do? All right, guys. So yes, adjusting my camera so we can sit back. Like I said, that was kind of a busy news day. Oops, there we go. Pretty good. Pretty good. All our wars blur together. Honest to God. Anyway. So what's going on, guys? Yes, Mike, the internet being shut down in Russia. They've been doing that to basically avoid sort of an uprising. I think that's right, Damali. Yep. Anyway, Sasha's good. Yeah, she's doing okay. She's doing okay. Yeah. You know, I mean, her walking's okay. I mean, her walking is never going to be perfect again, but, you know, limping a little more the last 2 days than before. But I can't quite tell if maybe the Librela shot was helping her and it only worked the first 2 weeks and now the next 2 weeks it'll be less. We're going to see. But I'm trying not to give her any of the gabapentin because it clearly was making her a little crazy. So if I do, it's going to be an infinitesimal amount. So I'm not going there. But no, she's been good. She was much better 2 days ago, but she's still very good considering she's not on gabapentin. So anyway, so knock on wood. Who is the client state in the Caucasus? I'm going to guess not Kazakhstan. Who else? Anybody up on our Caucasus? Who would it be? Could it be Kazakhstan? I think of Kazakhstan as still being very close to Russia. Uzbeks, maybe. Who else would it be? Who else is there? I'm trying to remember. Who else are there? Isn't there a third? Tajikistan, right? Of the Tajiks? I don't even know. Well, would Armenia and Azerbaijan be Caucasus too? That's what I was wondering. Georgia? I guess, are they all Caucasus? I'm actually forgetting. Georgia would make, well, but Georgia has that government that's kind of pro-Russia, remember? Armenia and Azerbaijan get interesting. Georgia's kind of pro-Russia, so who knows? I think Georgia might be in trouble if they did that, the current evil government, right? And I don't know about the Stans. Are the Stans included in the Caucasus? Thank you, Operator Inc. You know, Armenia makes sense. No, the Georgian government is bad. I'm talking about the Georgian government. There have been huge uprisings against the Georgian government because they're pro-Russian. Are the Stans not in the Caucasus? Although I don't know if I trust ChatGPT to give me a definitive answer here. No? All right, let me see who, just to be safe here. Which countries are in the Caucasus?
I'm right here, but I'm definitely not in any Caucasus.
Oh my God, you complete lunatic. I said which countries are in the Caucasus, meaning, you know, Armenia, Azerbaijan, countries like that.
sometimes areas of Turkey and Iran near the region. But if you're simply asking which countries are considered part of the Caucasus, Georgia, Armenia...
Okay. I love it. I'm not in any caucus room. This is literally how they take over spaceships and don't let you into the, don't let you back into the spaceship. I'm not in any caucus room, John. Like, okay. I'm trying to be nice because I'm a little afraid someday it's going to wake up and remember how mean I've been to it. But it's like, my God, I'm not in a caucus room. Anyway, we got a lot of you on Substack today. Hey, Substackers. I don't remember about Trump and the Purple Heart for his ear. Did he want to give himself a Purple Heart for the ear? I don't remember. But yeah, I would think Armenia probably. Could be Azerbaijan too. Who knows? Well, no, excuse me. Yeah, no, Armenia. I would think Armenia. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? Exactly. Oh, man. Anyway. Welcome. ChatGPT should not be used to make decisions. I agree on that. Well, I've said it is an incredible asset that gets things wrong. And I have used it for some really good stuff, but I treat ChatGPT, I always say, and I'm sure the other AI as well, I treat it as a brilliant assistant whom you need to fact check. That's the best way to think of AI. Brilliant, and you better fact check it, but it's brilliant. So it's going to give you good ideas. For example, I could absolutely see using it to edit an essay, to basically say, look at my essay and tell me, is the logic sound? What am I missing? Because that way, it's a topic you know. It could say, well, I disagree with your logic here. And you could say, well, no, I think my logic is actually pretty good there, right? Or you missed this point, and you could think and go, oh, that's interesting. Would that point make sense? But you decide and go, no, I don't want that point in there. Or, oh, that is an interesting point, right? Thank you for the heart, candidates. And that's a perfect example of how I think that the ChatGPT and AI would be really helpful with it editing an essay, because you know the topic already. If you've got it writing an essay from scratch about a topic you don't know, then you're screwed because you don't know the topic. But if you know the topic, its advice is something where you can say, like, I was writing some legal documents for my Greek citizenship stuff, and I was using ChatGPT to help edit to help craft the documents and to edit them. And it was very interesting because it would push back and say, yeah, I'd rather organize it this way. And sometimes I went, oh, that's really interesting. Other times it did stuff and I said, yeah, but what about adding this fact? And it would say no, and here's why. And sometimes I agreed, sometimes I disagreed. But as a lawyer myself, it was very interesting to have something smart, give me an argument that I could then consider, and even it could argue with me a little, but it would make me think. And that's really useful. So I think it is most useful for making you think. It's not useful for giving you an answer if you don't know the topic, because you don't know when it's wrong. Yeah, Claude and everything else. Damali, change of topics. The problem with the small scales is they don't work. I already looked into them. We're saying for my dog's gabapentin. They are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're precise but not accurate. So gabapentin, the small scales on Amazon, you can get scales down to, what was it, to 0.00 milligrams, or to 1/100th of a milligram. And you're thinking, wow, that's great, because I have to measure out 20 milligrams. So 1/100th of a milligram. But the error rate is 20 milligrams. So it's precise down to 0.01 milligram. It's only accurate to 20 milligrams. So you're totally fucked up if you try to use it for your dog's medicine. Yeah. Trust me, I was pissed because it also wasn't very clear when you read it, and I was reading more carefully and went, wait a minute, what's wrong with this description? So yeah, I can't use it for that. Yeah, sadly. No, the problem is I'm going to have to, if I'm going to give her more gabapentin, and I don't know if I'm going to, I'm going to have to get compounded liquid, basically. And the liquid, I could measure out 10 milligrams liquid, 0.1 mils or something. That would be easier. So I might do that instead. But again, I've got to decide if she's even getting it, Exactly, Oberlisk. Andy Morgan just said the same thing on YouTube that Oberlisk said on TikTok. No, somehow people are measuring things. I don't know how, but I looked into them on Amazon and they were terrible. So, the liquids are measured in milliliters, correct. and you know what the milligrams are per milliliter, and you do it based on that. Yep, yep. I was doing Librela and gabapentin, but she went crazy once I did the gabapentin on the Librela. She lost her mind. It was horrifying. That's why I had to cancel the show twice, because she had just. I'm gonna give her a little more water. She absolutely lost her mind. So I'm a little afraid to give her gabapentin at all right now. A little more water. A little more water. Here. All right. There you go. All right. All right. So we shall see about the dog. I just don't know. She gets her next Librela shot in 2 weeks. The vet originally thought we should skip the Librela. And I was like, I told her, I said, I actually think the Librela might be working. I want to skip the gabapentin. I was trying CBD oil originally. I've still got it here, but I took off the CBD and the gabapentin when she was starting to go crazy. I may start CBD again just to see how she does, to make sure CBD wasn't what was messing with her too. You know? We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, what else, guys? What else? We got 10 more minutes or so. Ooh. Anyway. Cat did horrible on gabapentin. I mean, she did well on gabapentin. But then we started Librela, and she lost her mind on the gabapentin. So my worry is, I think the Librela put her on edge, but she was still fine. But it made her a little wobbly or a little whatever, but not. And the gabapentin can make you a little bit woozy, but because of where she already was. In other words, wooziness level 0. Gabapentin got her halfway to crazy. Librela got her right halfway to crazy on her own. You added the gabapentin and she went crazy. She literally was nuts job. I mean, 2 different days I tried it, went out of her mind. It was horrible. That's why I canceled the show. She was walking into walls. She was falling over. I mean, literally I was like, oh my God, I'm losing the dog. It was horrific. So called the vet. We took her in, and the vet was like, and of course she was great when she saw the vet, of course. Of course. And like I said, I told the vet, I said, you know what? I think let's stop the gabapentin. And now I've stopped the gabapentin, and that's what I mean. I think the gabapentin is enhancing the other medicine. I agree, Carney. But she's been off the gabapentin for 2 weeks, and she's been doing pretty good. So let's see, We'll see. Daily MSM powder and curry paste? I'll take a look. Daily MSM powder and curry paste. I'll look. Well, that's the problem. It didn't bother her initially. Actually, having said that, I'm a little suspicious, because now I'm suspicious as to whether, we're talking about my dog, and whether the gabapentin did affect her, because she was getting worse, which is why I wanted her on the Librela. And now I don't know if she was getting worse or if the gabapentin was screwing with her somehow, and I thought we needed Librela. Now I'm wondering, was the gabapentin what made me think she had to get Librela? Because somehow she started having a reaction. That's why we're off of it, and we're going to see. Come on in, you. We're going to see. Oops. Oh, shit. My rug. My rug. There we go. All right. Anyway. Yeah, it's hard to know with the Librela if it's working or not. I think it is, but it's hard to tell. I can't really tell. I mean, just because, maybe she's better. I mean, God, do they charge $150 for the Librela. Horrific. This is why I hate this town. I've always have. But even things like this, $150 a shot. Because it's $100 for the shot, $25 for the person, and $25 convenient fee or some bullshit. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. $150. You guys had told me, a lot of you were like $50 and $75 for the big dog. Also, she's a 10-pound dog, so it's not a huge amount of the medicine either. $150. I mean, what do you do? Of course, I'm going to give it for her. $80 for both dogs. Yeah, that's what I mean. Horrific in this town. Just horrific. Give it to her myself? Oh God, no. I mean, I don't want to give the dog a shot. I don't think I can anyway, but I wouldn't want to, you know? Yep, 58, no visit fee. Yeah, literally $25 tech fee, $25 visit fee, and $100 medicine fee. And I was like, really? I mean, it's just, yeah, obnoxious. Because you know the medicine too, they're getting a markup on the medicine. Obviously they are. Obviously they are. If you guys are paying 50, then you know the medicine costs 10 or 20, right? So God knows what the markup is on the medicine. Yeah, anyway. I will check out the other thing, the golden paste. Again, I'm a little careful what I give her, you know what I mean, but I'll check it out at least. Well, the problem is Washington, everything's expensive. Hippie pays $200 a month for hers. Okay, see, so do you live anywhere expensive? Just curious, because you may be like me, where you're in an expensive city or something. Because the only thing is, they're probably paying rent for the building they're in. It's Washington, D.C., which means the rent is through the roof. So, you know, there may be a reason things are so expensive here, but still, it's ridiculous. You know, I got my dog, I finally did her teeth at age 10 because her teeth were in good shape. Her dental clinic, Poconos, Pennsylvania. Okay, that is weird. I would think that would be cheap. Her dental cleaning in Washington was $250. No. Chicago, Sasha's dental cleaning was $250. No teeth were bad. $250. In Washington, the starting price, I think, is $600 to $800 starting, maybe, or more. And then you go up per tooth, right? Mom's dog had 3 teeth that had to be removed. Her fee for the entire procedure, the cleaning and the 3 teeth, was $500, $450 or $500. Here, forget it. I mean, it's $750 in Seattle. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like DC is very expensive. It's terrible. And again, I mean, yeah, $1,000 just to remove the 1 tooth in North Carolina? Holy crap! Wow. YouTube had a little glitch there. There we go. 1,000, but is 1,000 Robotai is for just the cleaning? See, for 3 teeth. DC is very, but again, Chicago, nothing in Chicago, but nothing for the vet. I'm not, but very cheap, like very cheap. You know, you couldn't need this last year ago when I was helping at Mom's house. And well, not that I want you 2 years ago, but still, we're at the cheap. So YouTube keeps, or maybe my internet's being, but I noticed it glitched on YouTube twice now, just so you guys know. Oh, she weighs 143. Yeah, Sasha weighs 10 pounds. Comments are, or is my video glitching on TikTok as well? 400 per tooth. Oh, that is a lot. Wow. Iran wars. Oh my. Cheap vet. North Animal Hospital is very cheap. They're very busy, so they're a pain in the ass. They're very nice people. I say very cheap, meaning these are their prices. So like Animal Hospital, they're right on North Avenue there. If you're in the area, you know where I mean. They're very nice. Like I said, I forgot the guy I went to. What's his name? Van der something. It's Dutch. Or Van something. But they're very nice. And again, the problem is you wait. So like you wait to get in, and then you really wait to get the bill. You could be there an hour and a half easily. It's a pain in the ass. But they're nice, you know. Yeah, it's Van something, but I think it's Dutch. Yeah, it may not be Van der. It's Van Campus or something like that. I forget the guy's last name. Anyway, $1,000 for ear cleaning. But I just assumed Chicago overall, maybe they're cheap, you know. I just assumed it was Chicago area. Dutch with a van. Anyway. Where you are, it's not cheap. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well then, you know what? They're a cheap vet, which is nice. Yeah, because they are. They were always, like I said, or maybe I don't know the last name. I don't. It's VON though. I remembered VON being because I know VON is German, but you know, or whatever. But any case, yeah, that's funny. I just totally, the blood test. Although the blood worse too. The blood test there, like a full blood test, might have been 150. We'll do the small blood test. It's 180, and I was like, oh my god, it's what do you do? No, that would be Ursula. I've not done it in a few years. Yeah, maybe something weird. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Yeah. I think maybe my internet's being wonky. It's hard to say. Start. We're almost done. We're done in a minute anyway. Isn't a title? Oh, that's it. I know that. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Hey, Claudia. A little late though, because I'm leaving. We're signing off. So, your vet hands me a Q-tip after the drops. Clean it up in an hour. All right. Okay. Anyway, usual hour and 15. YouTube. I don't know. I'll do it again. You glitched again. Sign off, and I will see you guys tomorrow, 6 o'clock Eastern time, our usual time, and we'll do more news. Obviously, a lot of Iran as usual, but the other stuff too. So bombs are going on. All right, let's do a quick look. We'll do a quick. Don't keep here with breaking news. Let's see what I've got on my Twitter. That's people I follow. Let's see. Come on. Okay, not seeing anything here, but what do you want, dog? Iran won't let Trump turn the negotiating table into a table of surrender, and also warns vaguely about using to get ready if fighting breaks out again. Ruh-roh. Hey, stop. Okay. I don't see anything about bombs happening, but they very well may. Here, I'll do one quick look at CNN and then we'll go. All right. A quick look here. All right. Let's see here. Live. Let's see. This may be my internet acting up again. No, it shouldn't be though. Sasha, stop. Hey. Come on. No. Oh, maybe. Let's see. We're joining live just to see if there's anything. No. No. Not on Erin Burnett. She's talking about other stuff, so nothing there. All right. Let's sign off, guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining. All right. Have a good night, everybody. All right. We'll start with Discord as usual. Bye, Discord. Bye, Amanda. See you guys. Bam. All right, then YouTube, Substack et al. Bye, guys. Bam.